Hello folks, Reverend Crystal Cox here. I want to talk to you today about the word feminist. I've been a lesbian my whole life. I'm 44 now. I came out at 16. I guess when you're young, maybe you assume that you have equal rights to men and to other women, and quite naively, being a feminist is about equality. I didn't really know that. I'd heard a lot of derogatory stuff, like feminists hate men and bra burning and rioting in the streets and all this stuff, but when I was young, I didn't really study it, and being in Montana, it just wasn't something that we were taught in schools or anything, so I never considered myself that. I always, I had a real estate company, hired men, had a bakery, hired men, men and women. I was always open to men, always helped men, just the same as women. I have fought online for anti-corruption stories, and I have done this for men and for women. And I just never considered myself as man-hating, that's for sure. But a few years back, when I started writing about rape, date rape, drugging, in my town in Montana, it was Lincoln County, Montana, and I realized that it was statewide, and now you can see that it's national-wide, and it's just rampant because the date rape drug can be in water. It's a clear liquid. You can't taste it. You are kind of out of it for days, so you don't report it when you're drunk. You are suggestive, so whatever they tell you to do, you do. So if they video it, it looks like you were willing, but you were drugged. And once I started reporting on the local prosecutor not prosecuting the cases that they had with the rape kits, and I knew some of the gals that were drugged and raped, and there was also some men that were drugged, and they just wanted to watch them do stupid things, dangerous things, I'd get in the car, I'd have blood coming out their ear. And so then I became labeled a man-hater because I was speaking out against rape. And so at that point, I was really saddened by it because I didn't hate men, and just because you're a lesbian does not mean that you hate men. But there was such a hatred, for lesbians, and apparently for the truth. These young men never did get prosecuted. There was no justice for these women. They'd go to the commissioners and tell their story. They were treated as if, well, if there was any alcohol involved, if there wasn't alcohol involved and it was just a clear liquid of water, boys will be boys. Turns out there was a bunch of rapes at the University of Montana. The Department of Justice came in and investigated those. Okay, it's always about boys will be boys. Okay, a whole bunch of boys drug and rape a woman, and it's the boy's future that matters and not the woman. So I speak out about these because they're actual crimes that are not being prosecuted, and I'm labeled a man-hater. I still hadn't really explored the word feminist. I guess it was an assumption that I was a feminist by definition because feminists want equality to men. So, I was watching a CNN special last night about the 60s and, women having to retire as stewardess if they got married or if they turned 32 or whatever. And just women's rights, just held down. Why is it? Because they have the babies that, men went out and worked, men had all the power, men had all the rights, men could get loans and businesses and bank accounts, and women couldn't? I mean, equality is what feminism is about. I didn't really know that. When I was younger, I thought feminists were about hating men and just, ew, men, and they're all lesbians and they hate men, and I'm not that kind of a lesbian. Well, no, feminists aren't necessarily lesbians. Feminine are women. So if you believe in men, and if you believe in equality, and you believe that women are human, you're kind of a feminist. So I still hadn't labeled myself that because I just didn't see any need for it. Well, last summer I became friends with this gal online, and we were pretty close, and I really enjoyed talking to her and stuff. And I felt free to sass people on her Facebook page. And it happened on different levels, but this particular time, this man was, he acted almost as if he was complimenting her. Okay, but he wasn't. He wasn't flirting with her. He wasn't being sexually derogative. He wasn't being, oh, let's have sex, sexual innuendos and flirting and compliments. Okay, if the person that is getting that likes that, that's great. Okay, I like that. I like to sexually banter on Facebook with people that I know if I want to, you know, if I want to tease or whatever, or be flattered sexually. And if the person's page that's on allows that, that's great. But this guy wasn't doing that. I have read a lot of material on controlling people, on abuse, on verbal abuse, on psychology, on energy stuff, on abusive men, abusive women. Now, a controlling person can be a woman or a man, and they can do that in relationship to other women, other men, their children, whatever, okay? But back in the day, chattel, C-H-A-T-T-E-L, was where women were considered property. Okay, so this man was making these sexual comments to this woman as if she was his property. Okay, now, I don't know if they'd ever met or whatever. But instead of like, oh baby, you're so hot, I want to do you or whatever, you know, which is fine, great, and compliments and whatever, that's direct. It's the passive aggressive, and not even passive aggressive, it's violent, really. And it's not really recognized because the women, I don't know if they think it's flirting or a compliment or what, but you know, if a man just comes right out and says he wants to be sexual with you, or, you know, is hooting at your boobs or saying something complimentary about your body, no matter how sexually derogative, if you like it, that's great. You know, some people do. I like to engage in that kind of stuff with some people in my life. But this was about ownership. This was about buying. This was about owning the person. And it was a joke, right? But I am also psychic. I'm intuitive. I do intuitive readings all the time. It was a deep-seated, it wasn't a compliment. It wasn't a joke. It showed a side of this man that was an ownership of women. It showed a distaste to women. And I called him out on it. And he's like, oh, I'm nice to women. I'm not like that. That's not me. He explained himself over and over. I'm just some stranger. He should just said, you know your truth, I know mine, or something like that. He defended himself so much. Clearly I was right. Okay, and I was, yes, defending this woman, and she didn't ask me to defend her, and I probably shouldn't have defended her. But I don't like to witness things that I know flat out are just disturbing. You know, he was being possessive. He was being controlling. He was being, I own this woman, okay? But he did it in a complimentary, I'm a guy sort of a way, and so it was taken as a compliment, and the woman apparently took it as a compliment. Okay, no problem, but it wasn't. So in my comments about it, he come out in one spot and he called me a feminist, and he, as a dirty word, like a curse word. And I thought, am I a feminist? And then he told me I should join some group or go back to my Katie Lang Now or NOW or some group. I don't even really know what that group is, and I haven't researched that yet, but he was accusing me of being a feminist. And I thought, wow, because I'm standing up for the rights of a friend, and of course she didn't ask me to, but I don't want to be I don't want to witness something like that. To me, it's like witnessing a woman being beaten or raped or yelled at in the street, you know? It's not, and don't get me wrong, it's not about sexual banter on Facebook. It's not about saying someone is sexually attractive in as vulgar a way as you want. If that person wants it, that's great. It's not about that. It's about men's sense of entitlement over women. It's about a comment that makes a woman be more like property. Okay, other than, oh baby, I want to do you, and whatever vulgar cussing, whatever way you do that, that's different than ownership of women. And I was trying to make that understandable. But what happened was the woman, I felt it in my gut, I knew that she would then pick his side. Okay, that she would be more like defending his honor versus defending my honor. And it hurt me and bothered me that I knew that was coming, but I felt it coming before it happened. And so she did. She blocked me on Facebook. And I found out, you know, many, many months later that she felt like that maybe it was something to do with like I was jealous of him or whatever. Well, I wasn't jealous of him in any way. I was calling him out. I've never even met the woman. We weren't like dating or anything. I just felt a close connection to her. The man was being abusive. She probably still doesn't feel that way to this day. But what it brought up for me, and in her choosing that, so she probably kept friends with him, comforted him, and blocked me. Okay, so then I become the radical feminist lesbian when I'm not that person, okay? I'm someone who knows a lot about the law, about chattel, about psychology, about controlling people. I'm intuitive, I'm a spiritual counselor, I'm a healer, and I saw it for what it is, and I was right. And I know I'm acting a little bit arrogant about it in that way, but I was. I saw it clearly, spiritually and intellectually, and all those different levels. So it really hurt me that the woman then blocked me on Facebook and chose to, I'm assuming, comfort him and keep him. So that, I don't know if she needed that attention or what, okay? But, or if she really did feel like I was trying to be possessive of her, which I'm not. That's just not who I am. So, in that moment, I thought, wow, well, am I a feminist? Am I some sort of a radical feminist? Am I some sort of a Katie Lang feminist? You know, whatever that means to men who are threatened, you know? I mean, why not live and let live? His comment was inappropriate. He was embarrassed by it, so he started calling me dirty names. And one of those dirty names was feminist. This was about 6 months ago. Well, quite a few months ago. So I realized during that time, and I am very appreciative to the goddess for that, I am most definitely a feminist. Guys like that are total pricks. And women that like to be talked to like that, that is whatever they need. But I realized that I am definitely a feminist, okay? You will never catch a woman talking about a man like that, okay? It just doesn't happen. And I'm not saying women can't be abusive and bitches and controlling of their men and wanting them to lead their lives and, you know, and their morals and their belief system, because a lot of women are very controlling. Being a feminist is about equality, okay? Whether you're two men, two women, a man or a woman, you're equal in the relationship. You're equal in rights. You're equal in same job for same pay. Okay? If you can hoot at someone, the man can hoot at someone, the woman can hoot at someone. You know, instead of walking by in the street and just women getting sexually attacked, verbally, whatever, men can do that too. Okay? Equality in pay. Equality on every level. That men are not superior to women and men don't own women. Okay, like they used to. And women don't own men. Okay, feminism is also about equality with men and not necessarily being a bitch and controlling your man, you know. If you're going to be with a man, be their friend, be their companion, support them. You know, you don't control them, but they don't control you. Okay, there is a certain type of behavior that is controlling, and it represents, yes, feminists still need to rise. And all this protesting in the street right now really points out too that, yes, across the board, mostly white male assholes, and a lot of them are cops, are suppressing the minority. They're suppressing Latinos, blacks, women across the board, okay, are not treated as if they have something more important to say than a man. No matter what the man's done, most often white men believe the man over the woman, okay? I'm not saying that all white men are bad. I'm just saying this is my experience. This is my experience with the law in Montana. This is my experience online. When I am friends with certain people and I watch this, it can certainly happen. You know, it happens a lot with butch women too. I don't join those groups either. But I come from a spiritual base, and I also have written on and fought for justice for years. It's been about 12 years, and I have heard tons of stories of corruption. I have written on them. I know the inside of all this. I know the abuse, domestic violence, sexual abuse, controlling people. I know all of this stuff. And so the fight for feminism is alive and well. It is huge, and it's almost as if it's starting over. Okay, so yes, I am a feminist. And if that's a dirty word and a hate word and a, oh my God, she's one of those feminists, fine, stay away from me. No matter what race, what gender you are, just if you have a problem with the word feminist, please stay away from me. If you don't want men and women to be equal, if you don't think women are humans and deserve equal rights, stay away from me, okay? All right, Goddess bless you all, and a little bit on why I now firmly say I am definitely a feminist. Goddess bless you.